Welcome to Hometown Salutes. I'm Sherry Kendall. Today we have our Fayette County veteran, Kevin Cassidy. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
So let's get started. So tell us, what branch of service were you in and how many years were you in the service?
I was in the United States Navy, and I was in for 23 years.
Wow. So did you come from a military family?
Yes, I did. I'm actually 5 generations of war in my family. So,
Did they all make it a career? Most of them?
my grandfather did, my father did, and my stepdad was in Vietnam, and my grandfathers were in World War II.
Wow. That's awesome. So I guess when you joined the service, your parents were pretty supportive then of you joining.
Well, Mom was a little skeptical, but yes, they were very supportive.
Okay.
You know.
So you were in the Navy and then you were in the Seabees?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I was in the Seabees.
Okay, so can you kind of tell us what is a CB?
Many of you have seen the John Wayne movie, The Fighting Seabees.
Yeah.
Which means we build, we fight. So we're pretty much a construction group, and we have the tools, and we use Marine doctrine for our combat skills, which is our fighting skills, and we have a 940.1 combat skills and a 940.2 combat skills, which is advanced combat skills.
Okay, so as a CB, you do inter combat then?
We do inter combat, but we are only on the defensive. We don't go offensive.
Okay.
As they say, but we do have collateral duties such as the convoy security element team, which sometimes can be diverted en route on a convoy to with the proper intel to intercept the bad guys.
Okay. All right, so basic training. Where did you go for basic training?
I went to RTC Great Lakes up in Chicago,
Okay.
up at by Waukegan, and I went to boot camp there in 1990, June 24th through August 17th, and then I went to a school, and then I came home for 15 days and went to my first ship, the USS Mars.
Okay. So then after the basic training, you went into CB school? Is that how that works?
No, I went into CB school when I did 8 years on active duty, and then after the 8 years of active duty, my kids were getting ready to start school. Well, 911 went down, and when the day 911 went down, a recruiter called me because I had signed up for inactive ready reserves.
Okay.
So they were going to enlist, or they were going to bring me back for 24 months, and instead of doing the 24 months, I re-enlisted into the reserves, into the Seabees for 6 years.
Okay.
Because it was going to put me at 10 years anyway, so I might as well just went ahead and retired anyways.
Right. Okay. Wow. So what exactly did your job entail?
My job entailed, as a CB, I was a steelworker chief, or a steelworker in the Seabees, and I cut welded steel, aluminum, stair casing treads, and welded up-armored vehicles for overseas.
Okay.
And built staircases, metal staircases.
So you were overseas then?
Oh, yes, quite a bit.
How many tours did you take?
I did 12 overall and 9 combat tours.
Wow.
So
you were in Iraq, Iran?
I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Somalia. We supported off the coast of Somalia, and then I was in Iraq. I was in Kuwait, Bahrain, Dubai, Fujairah, all them Middle Eastern countries. But I did Iraq and Afghanistan. My first stint in Afghanistan, I did 22 months at one deployment. And then on my second deployment. I did 1 year over there, so.
So how in Afghanistan, how do the people, how do they treat you?
For the most part, the people were very receptive of the American soldiers, and the I mean, you have Muslim ways, and then you have those that are Christian ways over there that really they don't come out as frequently and as often. But you have in Afghanistan, you have a new generation of Pashtun and an older generation traditional Pashtun, which is really two different dialects in their language in Pashtun, which it really shows the generation, the generation gap that they have with the newer generations. It's really no different than here with with the way you and I grew up, and then as the generations, things get a little different.
Right.
So
And then in Iraq, were the Iraqis, were they okay with you guys?
for the most part, but you didn't know who to trust. Kind of like Afghanistan, but you could pretty much tell the bad guys in Afghanistan to a certain extent.
Yeah. So, like 911 was pretty important time in our lives. At that time, you were called back. Is that correct?
Yes, the same day that the planes hit the World Trade Centers. The recruiters were on the phone with me.
And so you went back at that point for how long?
28 days later, I was back in the United States Navy Reserve.
Wow. So did you ever have any close encounters? And if so, like, where were they?
I had a few close encounters in Afghanistan. We had a rocket hit 90 feet from where we were sleeping. Me and a buddy of mine, another chief that had just come back. We had just come back. He's from Columbus, Ohio. We had just come back from R&R, and I was just talking to my wife, getting ready to tell her good night because he and I hadn't slept in 36 hours. So, so it was time. I had just come out of the defact 90 feet from where we were sleeping, and a rocket hit as I was talking to my wife after I got done eating. So,
Wow.
and there was several injured, and he was already asleep and passed out. So, so I had to pull him off his rack and throw my stuff over us, and to make sure that we didn't get any shrapnel. So, yeah, it was quite a few hairy times over there. I sat on some IEDs quite a few times until we got an EOD out there, and we backed up and let EOD do what they do, and then I've been, of course, shot at a few hundred times.
Golly.
So, but while I was over there, I've seen quite a few rocket attacks. I think I've seen close to 280 rocket attacks. And then, yeah, so. But I did a lot of, the country's beautiful. If you could take all that away, I actually enjoyed the country.
Yeah, I saw some pictures that you had sent. So, this one was the temperature. So that was the temperature where?
So that was in Afghanistan, and that was in the shade. It was over 120 degrees in the shade. And that was, I think that was right at the end of July, first week in August, when I took that picture.
Wow. I don't know how you guys stood it.
Yeah, it was rough. It was much different than ship life. You really had to have your physical readiness you had to be in really good physical shape.
Yeah. So is this the first ship that you were on?
That's the first ship I was on. That's the USS Mars, fast attack, first of its kind. And when I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, we delivered fuel, ammo, mail, clothing, uniform items,
So what do you mean first of its kind?
It was the first of its class.
Oh, of its class.
Of its class,
Okay.
yes. And it's since then been decommissioned.
Oh, it has.
Yes.
So what is this picture right here? Is this in Afghanistan?
No, that's on my first ship. That's a CH-46. We used them for vert reps in Desert Shield, Desert Storm with like mail. Mail was a big thing that we used, and then pallets of food, and then tri-walls of tools, clothing, and we used to use them for vert rep.
Okay. So how many are those on?
We had 2 of those on my first ship.
Okay. So is this when you went in?
That was my last deployment before I retired.
Oh, okay.
And I was, we had just had an inspection with my guys, and one of my guys took a picture of me.
So this is in Afghanistan, is that right?
Yes, that was my last deployment, and we were actually training the new engineering brigade that they were spinning up. And we actually had a FTX, which is a field exercise, outside the wire, and a mile from where we were, there was a Taliban stronghold in a village. So we were actually grading them on this, and which there was some concern, but the Afghans, they did really good, and they set their security, which is a lot different than the way we set security, but they set security, and we got the mission done, and they did very well.
So what year is this?
This is 2014.
That's 2014.
2014.
So this is, who is this in this picture with you?
That's my counterpart that I was training on leadership skills, and he is in charge of the bridge building team, and which they did a phenomenal job. I mean, he's briefing me on what they've done from the morning's activities to where they're going to be by the end of the day.
Okay. And who are these people in this one?
These are my counterparts, my trainers with me. That's my commander and my November Company operations chief. I was the November Company chief, and this is the Army. He was the Army colonel that we actually supported in this mission, and Colonel Anderson, and he actually was most appreciative for what we taught the Afghans. We taught them how to do model terrains by using sand tables, and they laid out their whole mission for us with that sand table, and it was really neat. They did a really good job.
So this is in Afghanistan?
That's Afghanistan. They do some really strange things with their vehicles.
I was going to say, what are they doing?
And Connex boxes, and they bring their vehicles with them everywhere they go.
That's funny. And so this is what it looks like in Afghanistan?
Yep. It's very mountainous. Them mountains right there was about 3 miles due north of Kandahar Airfield. We had a little fob out there that we supported, and we had some guys on it, and I went out there to pick them up. When I went out to pick them up with my security team, I took some pictures.
It's unreal. Well, that's a beautiful sunset.
It's a sunset, and the sunset and sunrises are very beautiful over there, especially when you're running around the airfield late at night or in the evening and early in the morning.
So do they have seasons over there?
Yes, they do. And remotely, they're really remotely close to here. We actually had thunderstorms in the spring over there.
Huh.
But once the thunderstorms stop, it gets really, really hot.
Goes back to hot, yeah. So are we in Afghanistan here?
That we're in Afghanistan. The picture that I took, that's the front side of that Ford Observation Base, the FOB, and those were some of the clerics from the village across the road that had some concerns that were asking questions because there was so much security out there.
Okay. And so who is this?
That's Saddam Hussein. That picture was taken in Iraq, down towards, I think, Buka. I had to go do some assessments down in the south to Buka, and that was the year that I actually made chief, or was selected for chief, and they pulled me out of Iraq and sent me to Camp Arifjan in Kuwait, and that's where I did my chief select season of the Pride for 6.5 weeks.
Wow. So what was your first impression of the Middle East?
Very hot, and there's no place like home.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. So who is this in this picture here?
That's my father, Ted Cassidy. He's retired Army Reserve, and he is a retired police officer, and he actually retired as a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, wow. So,
And that was my retirement when I retired in 2015.
okay. Wow. So, I know you probably don't want to talk about this, but golly, this is awesome. So let's talk about all these medals and ribbons. Wow.
Yeah. There's quite a few. I mean,
I'm sure you jingle when you walk.
yeah, you can definitely hear me coming down the corridor.
Yeah.
When I walk, there's quite a few. I mean, I've done a lot of deployments and a lot of combat tours. There's some good conduct medals on there. I've got an International Security Forces ISAF, which is NATO, which is International Security Afghan Forces medal. I wear the Kuwaiti Liberation and the Liberation of Kuwait medals, and plus you've got my expert pistol and expert rifle on there, and then you have overseas ribbons, good conducts, like I said, Navy Marine Corps achievement medals. There's presidential awards on my chest. And it just goes, list goes on and on. I mean, my wife always likes to say, he don't like to toot his own horn, but I will.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame her. Because, I mean, we need to toot her horn, too. I mean, look at what she had to go through while you were gone.
She's endured a lot
yeah.
with me being gone. And then my last deployment, she finally asked me, do you think you can hang your boots up after this deployment? I'd really appreciate it. And I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, she's a trooper. I mean, that's crazy. So is this after the service? I mean,
yes, that was Armed Forces Day, 2018.
Okay. I missed this one. So who is this?
That's my daughter. That's my daughter. My daughter was born on my third deployment in 1993, and she was born, let's see if I can get this right. She was born on the 18th. She was born 13 days after I left.
13 days after you left.
Yeah.
So where did they stay at?
She was 6.5 months old when I got home.
Oh. Wow.
They stayed with her father until military housing came through in Alameda, and then we moved into Navy housing in the Presidio.
Okay.
In San Francisco.
Aw. And this is your beautiful wife.
Yep, that's my beautiful wife.
And you met her, how'd you meet her?
I
She's
met
not
her,
from here, right?
No, I met her in the service, and I met her in Hayward, California in 1992
Okay.
in April, and we were married 90 days later, and this year will be our 29th wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's awesome. So where's she originally from?
She's originally from California.
So how's she like it here?
The other day I was talking to her, and she said, I'm a Hoosier. I don't care what anyone says, I'm a Hoosier.
That's awesome.
So, and then that's my kids.
It's your family.
Yeah, and they're all grown up now. So.
Yep. Are they still here? They live
Yeah.
in Fayette County?
Yeah, all my grandkids, all 6 of my grandkids, and my daughter and her other half, and my son and his wife. So, yeah, they're all here.
Oh, that's awesome. So what is this?
That is the fair parade this year, and I actually got to wear my post commander's hat cover for the first time, and I'm the post commander of AMVETS Post 11 here in Connorsville, and so you ever get a chance, come on down and see us. Taco Tuesday.
Ah, it is the best.
It is the best.
That's for sure. So after the service, what did you do?
After the service, I actually work at Roots. I'm a journeyman machine repairman on maintenance, and I've been there for 12 years, and I just like enjoying my time with my grandkids and my time off, which I don't get very much time off. Between the AMVETS and at being the post commander at the AMVETS now, and working all the time. I mean, every ounce that I can get off, I take it off.
Yeah. So are you glad you joined the service and made a career of it?
Absolutely. I would 100% positively do it again.
Were you able to keep in touch with a lot of your buddies?
I keep in touch with just about all of them.
Really?
As a matter of fact, there's only a few that I cannot find today, but I mean, 98% of them, they pretty much call me, or I call them, or we send birthday cards, Christmas cards, or, now we got social media, so
Yeah.
the Facebook.
That makes it nice. Yeah.
The Facebook makes it really nice.
Is there a military kind of Facebook social media that you can go to?
There is. There's a militaryfriends.com that you can use, and I use that one, or I use, I think it's shipmates.com is one of them that I use, which is really good for looking up old shipmates.
Okay.
And it's pretty neat.
All right. So if you had to think of one funny thing that happened to you in the service, what could you tell us?
Well, there's no tradition. There's no tradition in the United States Navy, which they don't do it anymore. But I'm kind of old school Navy. But it's called Wog Day. It's the crossing of the equator, and it's shenanigans and fun and games, and you get slapped by a shillelagh that's soaked in salt water, and then you get to see King Neptune, and there's a whole list of orders and things that need to happen, and there's orders written against you, and it's pretty neat for the traditions that it is. But from what I hear, they don't do that anymore. They just hand you a certificate, and
they leave out all the fun.
They leave out all the fun, but and well, there's a few other things. I mean, we we done some pretty neat stuff in the service that I wouldn't say that it was funny things against us, but back when I was on the fleet side, we worked with a lot of schools, and we helped a lot of school kids in East Oakland, because my first ship was right there in East Oakland. And we had one school that we sponsored, and once a week we would go in on Fridays and we would help the kids with their math and their reading and their spelling,
Oh, so nice.
and we would we would have chicken dinners catered in for the lunch, and the ship paid for it all, and it was neat. It was a lot of fun.
That's really neat. Wow. So, do you want to tell us anything about your family, what you guys do now, or
Well,
you're very involved, I know, with the AMVETS?
we're involved. I'm involved with the VA and the AMVETS. I'm also involved with the VFW because of all my foreign combat. But the AMVETS is a great place. I mean, for veterans to come and support for families. I mean, we support so many families every year, you know, and families in need and the benefits that we do. Our sons, our riders, they throw so many benefits. And 3 years ago, we raised $26,000 in 1 year in benefits.
Wow.
So,
So, does that money stay here locally in Fayette County?
yes, it goes to the people that we are throwing the ride and the benefit for.
Nice. Wow, yeah, you guys do a lot. So, you have anything coming up?
We do have something coming up. Excuse me. Next Tuesday, this is Friday, tomorrow. Next Tuesday, we do have Miss Martha's Kitchen, the AMVETS, Taco Tuesday. And then the kitchen is open. The kitchen's open pretty much all week except for Wednesday.
Okay.
That's Miss Martha's day off. And
And Taco Tuesday is open to the public?
yes, Taco Tuesday is open to the public, and February 13th we are having a Valentine's dance with a dinner.
Okay.
So look for that. We will be posting that on our billboard outside.
And your facility is so nice. I mean,
It's
it's
super nice.
really a nice facility.
We just bought 3 new furnaces to put in there, so
Wow.
it'll be super warm in there.
Well, that's good. Well, I just want to thank you, Kevin, for sharing with us your experience in the service. I want to thank you for your service and your sacrifice and how you fought for our country. I mean, that's awesome that you put 23 years
Well, thank you.
into service. So be sure to tune in next month for another highlight of a Fayette County veteran on Hometown Salutes.